back live here for the testing. You want to take that, sis?
We are back here with Brian Fox Ellis, who will be presenting in Mount Pulaski. A lot of things to do with Lincoln, and welcome back, Brian.
Glad to be here again, and it is a great weekend to celebrate Lincoln's birthday. I'm most excited about the program at the courthouse, which is a full day of activities. I'm performing at 11 as Billy Herndon, but then after I'm done, they're having a birthday cake and some hands-on crafts for kids, and so it's the kind of event that any grandparent out there listening might want to bring your grandson or daughter, and everybody will have a good time.
Brian, have you been to Mount Pulaski much?
Not much. I've passed through a few times, and I think I performed in the schools about, 12 years ago or so. And then maybe 15 years ago, I did a lot of research on the various court cases that Lincoln practiced in the variety of courthouses, Postville and Mount Pulaski and Taylorville.
The only reason I mentioned that is that Mount Pulaski becomes typical. We have three communities here in besides the town of Lincoln, but we have Mount Pulaski, we have Elkhart, and right here in Atlanta. Those three little small villages just do a wonderful job of pulling together to pull off various functions throughout the years. And the folks over there in Vinegar Hill are going to be very, very happy to have you there, and they're a great group up there. You're going to enjoy your time there.
I will say I'm looking forward to it. I've enjoyed the communication. It's been wonderful. The people organizing this event are amazingly efficient in getting details and communicating well. Matter of fact, I'm sitting here with a document in front of me that Phil put together. Thank you, Phil. About the court cases that Lincoln tried and his time on the 8th Circuit, which the Looking for Lincoln Committee hired me several years ago to do research on the 8th Circuit. So I went to many of the courthouses, and that was the first time I'd been through Mount Pulaski.
So are you telling us, Brian, which one you're going to do Saturday, or is that going to be a secret?
Well, I'll give you the outline. As Billy Herndon, both Billy and Mr. Lincoln were involved in the Lyceum. So my frame for the show is kind of a Lyceum lecture, and we do know that Billy spoke some after the assassination about his friendship with Lincoln. And so I ask and answer these questions about Lincoln's training as a lawyer. Was he the highest paid lawyer in America in his time, or a self-taught country bumpkin? What were some of the important cases that he tried and legal precedent that he set that's still honored today? And probably the more important question is, how did his career as a lawyer prepare him to be the supreme executor of the laws of the land, the president? There's actually a new book out I've not had a chance to read, but I'm a big fan of Guy Fraker. And
yeah, that's a great book.
I'm looking forward to getting my hands on a copy. That Guy's put out a book about how Lincoln's time on the 8th Circuit prepared him for the presidency. Prelude to the Presidency, I believe the book is called.
That's right.
Yeah, we've had the privilege of having Guy here in the studio. He is a great guy, but just sheer coincidence. Guy's a fraternity brother of mine over at Champaign.
Oh, really?
Many, many, many years later after me.
Yeah. But he's a brilliant scholar and a good writer, too. It's hard to take a lot of these complex ideas and make them, kind of sing on the page.
Have you ever had the opportunity to kind of look at what it was like to be a lawyer back in the 1800s as opposed to 2013?
Oh, yes, very different. When I talk to lawyers today about some of the things that Lincoln and Herndon had to put up with, it's a whole other ball game. For one thing is, back then you didn't have the extreme specialization. Like, as an author, I deal with copyright lawyers occasionally, back then you did a little bit of everything, and it's fun to go through the court cases that Lincoln and Herndon tried. One of my favorites originated in Peoria and went to the state Supreme Court. It was one of the first times a woman had rights in a divorce case, and Lincoln argued for the woman, and she did.
Oh, that would have been cutting edge.
Yeah. So there's a lot of precedents, legal that Lincoln set. The building of the Decatur courthouse over in Macon County. And I might be confusing my counties because I went to so many back then, and it's been a while. But the idea that the builder, the contractor, used inferior materials and kept going over budget, and over time, Lincoln argued that the people holding the contract were able to sue and that the contractor had to cover some of those excess costs. That's a precedent that is still used in modern court cases. Anybody who's ever had, a contractor working on their house that didn't follow the contract, thank Mr. Lincoln. And crossing bridges, this is something we all do every day. The fact that the boats have right of way in waterways is actually a court case that Lincoln lost, but in the compromise after the case set a precedent that yes, we can build bridges as long as they're lift bridges or now high-level bridges, but back then they were turntable bridges and things.
Yes.
So there's a lot of great cases in Lincoln and Herndon's portfolio that we can talk about.
Mr. Ellis, Mr. Ellis, I'll try again. What I wanted to ask you, sir, is your touring. Do you tour year-round, and how far away do you go to do your gigs here, sir?
I tour the world. I've done 14
Really?
tours of Europe, into Central America and Canada, but I will say most of it's in the Midwest. I live in Peoria, but next week I'm moving to Bishop Hill, Illinois, a little Swedish colony, utopia on the prairie. My wife and I are buying a pre-Civil War hospital that was actually used during the Civil War for recovering soldiers when they came home. And it's a bed and breakfast now, the Twin Flower Inn. And if people are interested, twinflowerinn.com will be opening early summer. But this weekend in particular is one of the crazy-making ones because it's both Lincoln's birthday and Charles Darwin's birthday. I'm driving to Mount Pulaski and doing a couple of shows, two at the school on Friday and then the courthouse on Saturday. Then I drive to St. Louis because it's a cheaper flight, fly to Denver, where I'm performing at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. I'm doing 2 sold-out shows as Charles Darwin. Then I fly home, and I'm playing two different friends of Lincoln at some local schools in Stark County on Tuesday on his actual birthday in the morning, and then I drive to Chicago, and I'm at St. Xavier University as Charles Darwin in the evening. And that's not entirely typical weekend, but it's not unusual. So,
pretty full schedule.
Yeah.
We appreciate your taking your time with us this morning, sir. Those of us who can get to Mount Pulaski this Saturday, it'll be a nice day. Time well spent. And the folks over there at Mount Pulaski and Vinegar Hill would be welcome. Anybody in the listening area to show up over there. We appreciate the presence of Mr. Phil Bertoni this morning. And we're going to take a slight break because we have another guest we want to bring in here right now. And Brian, thank you very, very much, sir. Hope forward. I can't see you because I have college meetings next Saturday, but I would look forward to seeing you somewhere on the circuit.
Oh, good. I hopefully we'll be back, and hopefully I'll see some of you folks Saturday. Introduce yourself if you come up.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, bye, Brian. I'll see you Friday morning.
And we're right back live here. Testing 1, 2. Live in the studios. We're going. Andy Devine speaking from Atlanta, Illinois. Cynthia, why don't you go ahead
I'll
and
just take
introduce
it over, Uncle Bill. I would like to introduce Jenny Campbell, and her daughter Daria is here for moral support.
Yay!
And Jenny will be traveling to, correct me if I'm wrong, New York.
Yes, ma'am.
On The Voice.
The Voice.
How did you get this opportunity? Did you have to try out somewhere, hopefully around here, and not travel forever?
Well, I have wonderful children, and I have a son that is 18, and he's into music, and he was browsing on the internet, and he saw where The Voice had open auditions in Chicago. Excuse me. And so he came in and said, Mama, I really think that you should try out for this. And I said, if you think I should, let's do it as a team. So Daria and my son Zach and myself, we all traveled to the Rosemont Center. And that's where I tried out at. And so that's where it all began, is in Rosemont. So
That's up Chicago, Chicago
yes.
suburb.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we Rosemont.
Yep.
Have you been singing forever? A church choir, school chorus?
Well, I started singing at an early age. Around 8, started singing and trying to write a little bit of music, and it really became a huge part of my life when I was 16, my father passed away with cancer, and then a year later, my mother passed away with cancer. So it kind of was a life-changing thing for me. To help me through that, music really helped, fill that void. And so I started singing and volunteering, going to nursing homes, hospitals, any place that I could volunteer, just to go in and try to help, people that have went through the same thing as me with loss. So most of my music is about picking up the pieces after losing a loved one, whether it be a husband, a father, a mother, that's not the end of the road, that there's always bigger things that can help you, and that's what I do with my music.
Do you have any idea how many people will be auditioning on The Voice in New York?
I'm not sure, but I was looking online. You can go online and kind of follow them, and it looks like, over 15,000. So, it would be like winning the lottery if I make it through, but I am so happy that I had the opportunity to at least try out and make it to the next level, which is New York. I told my husband if it does happen, I don't know, but it will be like a lottery chance, I would think.
Well, and I have a confession. I have never watched The Voice. So is it because as you're surfing, and I don't even know which one this is, the person gets up and sings a cappella?
Yes.
So is that the right show I've got?
Yes. And they have 3 different judges that are sitting in chairs. Daria, can you help me? Is it kind of like they're in chairs and then...
Yeah.
Talk in the microphone. She's being bashful.
Don't be bashful.
Don't be bashful. This is Aubrey's
mom. I'm the one with the bad voice, Daria, so you go right ahead.
There's a couple different judges that sit in chairs, and they're turned around. And when she starts singing, if they want her to be on their singing team, they'll press a button and turn around to see what she looks like. And if multiple judges turn around, they'll give her offers, and then she'll have to pick what team she'll go on.
Okay, and then when you're on, what happens after you've made the team for whichever judge it is?
Well, then you're on the show. So then that's where I'll have to get Lincoln involved, which, I mean, like I said, it would be a miracle if I made it. But once if you do make it on the show, they had in the paperwork that you would be gone from March of this year until September, and that's when they start, taping the show and stuff like that. So I haven't even really thought that far in advance.
How are we going to run IGA without you?
Oh, I don't know. Well, Bill's doing it right now, and Aubrey. So, I mean, it's a big hope, but, just the experience thus far with traveling to Chicago and the audition there was amazing. When I tried out, they had put different holding rooms, for thousands of people, and they walked around with a microphone, and I think that was one of my brightest moments. They came over, and I stood up on the chair and started singing Lean on Me, and all 1,000 people started singing it with me, and that was really amazing. I loved that part of it. So
that's pretty neat.
When you're with a whole group of people that obviously have a commonality,
yes,
you can get away with something like that.
And it sounded beautiful. I'm like, this is awesome, because everybody was singing and dancing. It was just a happy time, I didn't see a lot of people upset. What I really liked about these auditions were the people that didn't make it. They were very encouraging to them and, told them, don't worry, try out next year. And I definitely encourage anybody in our town that is young to start young. Don't wait until you're 40 to start. Start young, because there's so many opportunities, There was so many, even walking in the building, there was so many different scouts. Maybe if you don't make it on the main show, there may be somebody else that needs you for something else. So I really want to encourage the young ones of Lincoln next year, if they have any kind of singing voice, to try out for something,
Oscar, I want to recap just a minute, if I may. It was your children that encouraged you to do this.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Take my hat off to the kids. Yeah, that's very neat. Now, as a practical matter, they going to pay your way out there?
Well, this next step to New York, they do not pay that. But if you make it past New York, they pay strictly for everything, your lodging and everything. So nope, this is solely on my husband.
This is you. This on Mr.
I got to go to work and work that off.
Thank him for that.
Yes,
and he's proud of this.
He's very supportive.
Yeah.
Every time I sing at churches, he travels along and they help with my music, and my family has been a very big part in helping me.
Now, what is the next step if you win in New York?
Then you make it to the show. Then they will gather everyone that's from New York, and I think that they have a couple more auditions in different states. I'm not positive, to be honest. And then they will gather those people, and they'll be finalists to go for the show. So, yes.
It's a lot of big steps.
It is. I'm so nervous.
And a lot of people.
A lot of people.
I presume, without saying, that I wouldn't recognize the music you're singing.
Yes. No. Well, if I could throw out all my, if I could throw some of my gospel back in there, I'm going to do some of my gospel, country. You know, some Loretta Lynn, and do some just different things. Yeah. You're not woman enough to take my man. Some of that, and How Great Thou Art. So I think it's going to be fun.
Those are the things. Now, how many? Excuse me. I'm sorry. How many songs do you get to sing in the competition? Just one?
3.
3.
Yep, I get this one. I will get to sing 3, and I get to have an accompaniment or bring an instrument. So,
do you play an instrument?
I play a little bit of the piano. Yes, and my son plays 3 different instruments. So if I would happen to make it through, my daughter plays a little bit of drums, and he plays the guitar, and so I will be having them help me in the background. So they're traveling with me to New York.
Well, if it doesn't even work in New York, you can go on the road here.
That's right.
Well, that'd be pretty neat if you could get through there. They could take great pride in having been the motivating factor for you being there. So
Absolutely.
They go. That's very nice.
And going to New York, Daria and I have already decided we're going to do some big major shopping. Bill just doesn't know. So the trip is going to be worth it. I heard there's some good shopping. So
go ahead, honey.
I'm just overwhelmed with this.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You recognize that the chances are very tiny because there are so many out there. But it could happen.
Yes.
It's like that family that won the lottery, for God's sakes. The guy won $1 million, then his wife wins $50,000.
Oh, my goodness. I just hope that maybe even through this, even if I hear nothing else and nothing becomes of this, that this encourages the young ones that whatever their dreams is, to try for it. Don't, like I said, don't wait till you're 40. Start when you're young now, because there's nothing that you cannot reach. Just try for it.
Well, I think that's a wonderful message. And,
yes.
You should be proud of yourself. There's a lot of people that tried the first phase and didn't make it.
I know that there was, I know there was another girl from Lincoln that tried out, and she's a beautiful singer, and I hope that next year that she tries out also, a young one. And I know that when they're young, they're easier to teach. So I want her to go back
Old
next
dogs,
year.
no tricks kind of thing.
No,
Yes.
You mentioned something about age just a second ago. Would you say that you're probably on the upper spectrum of the contestants as far as age is concerned? Many are younger.
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Well, I might put you.
I think they were real happy I was there smiling and waving, but I think they are looking for a younger group. They do have, they did have a lot of my age group, but a lot of them were probably around the ages 16 to, I would say, 30. 16 to about 30. But I'm glad that they're open to the older ones, because some of the singing stations are not for that.
It's kind of fascinating. Who are the sponsors for that program? I've never seen it.
That's NBC.
Okay.
Yes. So that's
I've seen it. It's big red chairs, and then they have a button they hit, and then they turn the chair around.
It has. This past season they had Christina Aguilera, Blake. Is it Sheldon?
Yeah.
And who's the other one?
Adam Levine and Zero.
She's an Adam Levine.
Good job.
Yes, she knows them all. So
what preparation will you be making for this?
Singing a lot, shopping a lot.
I think that if she builds up her confidence, even if it's a very small chance of her making it, if she has the confidence that she will make it, I think she'll make it farther.
Oh, see, that's why I love my children so much.
And how old is Daria?
Oh, I'm going to be 15 this month.
15.
I take my hat off to you symbolically.
And what's great is this probably is my last run in trying out for something big. It was kind of a bucket list thing. But what's great is I feel like I'm passing it down to the younger generation. My daughter, she won't tell you, but she sings and plays instrument, and my sons. So, it's just been a great experience already. Even if nothing else happens, I'm really happy and I feel honored.
Daria, are you really thinking, kind of rolling around in your head, that maybe you might give this a shot?
I don't know if I could. I don't think I can't get up in front of groups and sing like that like she can.
You will.
It'll come.
It comes. It comes.
Yes. And with her going around with me and stuff, she's getting used to being in front of people because they get forced into situations by helping me with my music or with the microphone or something. So,
So are they both going to be able to go to New York with you?
Yes, yes.
When does this contest take place now, dear?
You know, I'm not real for sure on the dates and stuff yet, but I will be gone. I'm meeting with them the 17th, February 17th.
I'm going to let you wrap up with the comments. Then I'll close with an Abraham Lincoln comment.
We definitely don't want you to sing, Mr. Gossett. You don't sound. I think you would sound like Madonna with a sore throat.
Ginny, you don't want me to sing when I have a good voice.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming, and how interesting, because it's a program I'm sure, as we're all surfing, or a lot of people like these reality shows, they've watched, and hopefully we get to see you there, and we wish you all the luck in the world. And Daria, good job, kid.
Thank you.
And I'll keep you guys updated when I get back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ginny and Daria, for being with us. We appreciate it very much. You take your time. You got to see a little of the county you didn't know anything about.
I did. This is awesome. I felt like I was on the road.
Why don't you use that Abe Lincoln quote right there? Because we had Abe Lincoln characters in here earlier, Mr. Herndon's portrayal and so forth. I think that's particularly apropos of today's time, since
It says you cannot build character and courage by taking away man's incentive and independence.
that says it all in today's times. And there are people who are trying to take away the other. Hey, kids, thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for Viewpoint.